Now, our next speaker doesn't need to learn that lesson. Earlier this year, I had the distinct pleasure of joining him as he signed the most important expansion on the right to keep and bear arms in his state's history. Thanks to his strong leadership, Kentucky is now the 16th state to recognize constitutional carry for personal protections. Friends, let's hear it for the great governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, Matt Bevin.
Thank you very much. The diehards are here. Thank you for being here from all over this country, all over this region. Thank you for coming out today. I wonder what it is that drew you here from different places. I have a sense of it. It might have been listening to the president. It might have been your appreciation for the freedoms we have in this nation. It might have been just a fact to be with other people who respect and defend our Second Amendment. Any number of reasons may have brought you here, but do you not love the United States of America? Are we not blessed? We are blessed to be in the United States of America. Do you believe in the future of this nation? Do you love our president? Do you love the fact that he stands firm for us? Are you willing to defend this nation? Are you willing to defend this Constitution? I'm guessing in some measure you are. This is why you are here. This is why you have gathered. I am indeed the governor of Kentucky. This is the first political job that I've ever had. Prior to this, I didn't study political science. I'd never found myself pursuing anything in the political realm until just a few years ago. I happen to also be the only Republican incumbent that's actually running for re-election in 2019. You hear a lot about what's coming in 2020, and it's true. But I'm the proxy for what's going to happen in 2020 as they experiment in Kentucky in 2019. So if you happen to want to get engaged in the political process, to stand in the gap in this year in advance of the big year next year, I know a guy. I know a guy in Kentucky that would be grateful for your help. MattBevin.com, that's all I'll say. You can figure it out from there. But quite literally, we have a lot at stake, not only in Kentucky in 2019, 2020 in America. I'm a guy that really, I've been asked often why I wanted to be the governor. What I said then, I say every time I've been asked. It wasn't so much a function of wanting to be, as the fact that I was willing to be. This is what I'm grateful to those of you who are willing to take times out of your schedules to be here, that are willing to give of your time, your talent, your treasure to support these constitutional values that we take so much to heart. We need more men and women that are willing and fewer that want, so that we get less of the video that we saw a moment ago of people who seem to think that they do own us, that they do rule us, that somehow we are under them as opposed to we being in charge of them. These are the things that are at stake for us. It's interesting. I'm blessed to be the governor of a state where we value things like constitutional carry. It wasn't that heavy a lift. It's a shame it took us this many years. It does take leadership, though. And the people that are responsible at the heads of respective states and of this nation, it makes all the difference in the world. You've heard the president, you've heard others talk about being under assault, about the fact that our values and the things that we uphold, these Judeo-Christian principles, these constitutional rights, the right specifically to keep and bear arms, that these things are under attack. And it's true. This isn't just anecdotal. This is true. There was a similar time not too many years ago, 240 some odd to be exact, but in the spectrum of human history not that long ago, a man named Thomas Paine, who on the third week of December in 1776 put his pen to paper, wrote some fairly famous words. He said, "These are the times that try men's souls." Everybody knows that line. He then went on to say that in the times of crisis, like they were in then, he said, "It is the summer soldier and the sunshine patriot that will shrink from the battle, that will shirk the responsibility." And he said, though, that it is the man and the woman who stands by her now that deserves her thanks, that deserves her respect. You are those men and women. You are the ones who are standing by your nation now. And I thank you. As the governor of Kentucky, I thank you. This nation thanks you. You hear a lot. It's interesting. It was actually, believe it or not, it was the third week of December, 15 years after that. 15 years after he wrote those words. That same third week of December in 1791 is when 27 powerful words were adopted into the Bill of Rights. When our founding fathers, who understood what it took to preserve a free state and a free people, was the right to keep and bear arms, and that should not be infringed. They understood. They had been through the battle quite literally and figuratively. You've heard a lot of people talking about you are the ones that are standing in the gap, and you are. I know that I'm speaking to people of faith in large measure from the conversations I've had with people in the back of this room earlier today, inside rooms, out in the halls across the way. You are people who respect God and country. You respect our Constitution. You respect the Judeo-Christian principles upon which this nation was built. And so if you'll indulge me, I'm going to use a phrase that has been used outside of the spiritual realm or the religious realm. It's almost anecdotal now, but it is meaningful to people of faith. And it's very apropos as to what is being asked of each and every one of you that is here today. You've heard the term about the watchman on the wall. You are the watchman on the wall. If you were to read in Ezekiel about the watchman on the wall, what is it that the watchman is warned about? It's not just to see what's coming. It's to sound the alarm. We see what's coming. These words that have been shared with us, we know it to be true. We see the words that come from those that are running to be the president on the other side of the aisle. This kind of nonsense, this socialist thinking, we see what's coming, but who are the watchmen on the wall? We are the watchmen on the wall. We are. You are, I am, all of us, some in elected position, some day to day going about our lives, husbands, fathers, sons and daughters, business owners, employers, employees. We are the watchmen on the wall. It is our responsibility. We need to do more than simply see what's coming. We need to sound the alarm. We need to stand up. We need to stand together. This is what's at stake. This isn't a game. I'm not doing this for fun. This matters. I'm a military veteran. I served with guys who are dead, whose children have grown up without a father, because they, like 1.5 million Americans since the inception of this nation, have given their lives in uniform to afford us the ability to freely assemble, to freely speak, to freely worship, the freedom of the very press that so often we're frustrated with. Nonetheless, people have given everything. Everything. This isn't a game. This isn't a game. But there's a warning for the watchman on the wall. If we see what's coming and we don't sound the alarm, it's on us. We don't get a free pass. We have a responsibility. This nation is worth fighting for. These values are worth fighting for. They're worth defending. I asked you a moment ago why you're here. I'm assuming it's because you want a free society for your children and your grandchildren, that liberty matters to you, that the Constitution of the United States matters to you, that these things are worth defending. But the question I have for you is, how badly do you want the better America, the greater America, the America that we all came here, that we've talked about, that people on this stage have spoken about? How badly do you want it? Do you want it as badly as the people who risked everything, came over here in rickety boats, risking their lives, many losing their lives, to come for the very freedoms that we have the luxury of being able to disregard and ignore and take for granted? Do you want it that badly? Do you want it as badly as those men in the winter of 1776, when they were reading the words of guys like Thomas Paine, and they were thinking about what it would be if they were to be able to free themselves from the suffocating cloak of tyranny, and they found themselves huddled in Valley Forge? If they were lucky enough to even own shoes, they ate their shoes to keep from starving to death. Do you want it that badly? Do you want it as badly as those men who stepped off transport carriers onto Omaha Beach? They saw what was happening. They saw the bodies in the water. They saw the blood in the water. They saw the bodies on the beach. They saw the machine gun nests on the cliffs. They knew their odds were slim to none to make it, but they came off wave after wave after wave, stepping over the bodies of their dead friends, trying to climb a cliff, to take out an enemy, to then march inland to free a nation that wasn't even their own. Do you want it that badly? Do you want it badly enough to be on the roof of an embassy compound in Benghazi knowing that you have almost no chance, but this is what you said you would do when you took an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America? Do you want it that badly? Because I tell you, if we don't want it that badly, if you don't, if I don't, then we don't deserve it. Then we don't deserve it. America was not handed to us on a silver platter. It will not pass from us to the next generation without some modern-day version of our own lives, fortunes, and sacred honor. Not a bumper sticker. Even in an election year, that wasn't a campaign slogan for those guys. Our state motto in Kentucky is a simple one. United we stand, divided we fall. It's powerful. It's absolutely true. You hear a lot about the gun lobby, the NRA, this nefarious gun lobby. You're the gun lobby. 5 million of us, we're the gun lobby. We're it. 5 million of us strong. United we stand, divided we fall. I'm unapologetic about many things. The wonderful thing about not needing a political job is you can do whatever you want in terms of following your true convictions. I'm unapologetic about my faith. The Judeo-Christian principles that I was raised with inform my entire mindset, my decisions as a husband, as a father, as a business person, now as the governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. They inform my thought process as I look at the history of this nation and I look at the men and women of faith on whose shoulders we stand. I pray for my children for two specific things. I pray for this nation, for our president and vice president. But what I pray for our children is this, and it's a simple two-part prayer. It's not the same words, but I pray it with them. I pray it when I'm not with them. It's the same thing I pray for you, for those that have assembled here this week. For people who share these values who were not even here, for people who love America. I pray that in a mixed up world of right and wrong and in is out and up is down and all the insanity that gets fed to our kids through devices like this and any number of other things, that they will have the wisdom to know the right thing to do. And that is the same when you go into the ballot box. I pray that you will know, that you will take the time and you will have the discernment and that you will have the wisdom to know the right thing to do. But I pray for my children for a second thing, and I pray this for you as well. I pray that you won't just know the right thing to do, because sometimes that's the easy part. I pray that you will have the courage to do that right thing. That you will know what needs to be done and that you will have the courage to do that right thing. This is my prayer for you. This is my prayer for America. United we stand, divided we fall. Thank you.